It's certainly a privilege and pleasure to have an interaction with Honorable Vice President, sir. May I request the students and the faculty members to start with an interaction.
Honorable Vice President, sir, my name is Lisa Norton-Dias and I'm the head of department. What advice would you like to give the students to keep them motivated during this pandemic?
You are able to hear me, students? Voice is not reaching?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Okay. My advice is very simple. Follow the guidelines issued by Government of India and Government of the state with regard to safe distance, which I call as Surakshita Duri. Second one is also wear a mask whenever you go out and meet others, except when you are speaking. It's always good to wear the mask. And third one is, of course, I'll be focusing some of these aspects is, this is a great opportunity available to you. So now, of course, you have to learn through online, virtual. You'll get an opportunity to get actual also. And stay focused on the courses which are being offered and try to learn them. And if you have questions, ask the questions without any hesitation to the people or the staff who are taking our class. And also leisure time. The best thing to all the students and the youth is to read about the country, to read about the freedom struggle, including the freedom struggle of Goa liberation, the great contributions and sacrifices made by our forefathers who are responsible for giving us this liberty, and also try to be friendly with nature. Nature, I always say nature, culture, together for better future. One of the reasons for this pandemic is because we neglected nature. We started misbehaving with the nature. Nature is showing its fury. And in the modern life, you put at least Goa, you are fortunate. This is open, lot of openness and people live at different places. That's why the pandemic also is not that much affected, other than steps taken by Government of India, Government of the state and also people's cooperation. But the main reason is air circulation. Air, light, water, soil and also the plants. They are really our friends. We must be friendly with them. So that's why I said nature. So please respect the nature and develop these habits. And during the pandemic, because you have some time, just revisit your life so far. How we have spent time. Is there a need for improvement? If so, why not we practice those improvements? Because we learn from others and we read newspapers, we go through television. Lot of information is available. And then try to understand it and then try to follow it in our life. And just last line is about the personal hygiene, the food habits. Slowly we are deviating from our traditional food and getting habituated to the so-called Western model. Western food is suitable to the Western countries. For us, the food which has been prescribed by our forefathers because of thousands of years of civilization they are living, that is the best suited. Food according to season, reason, winter, summer, what sort of food our forefathers have experienced it and they have prescribed to us. So we must try to have good food habits. Some people say, sir, now instant food. I will tell you, at the cost of even some people may misunderstand, instant food means constant disease. This has to be understood. We have to cook the food properly. Then enjoy the food. Second is physical fitness. Is one aspect everyone has to take care. See, the people comparatively in the rural areas or the agriculture laborers or the other people working in the field, they are less affected because their endurance levels are high. They are also doing some physical activity. But unfortunately, urban life is becoming sedentary to many of the younger generation. That's why we are getting prone to these infections also. So take care, do some yoga or walking or any exercise of your choice. 30 minutes exercise is a must in the life. And then, as I told you, revisit your life so far and learn from your grandparents, parents, what has been their experience, because they also have time and you also have time to spend with them, each other. And try to learn. Whatever I have learned, I can tell you. One, through my grandparents. Second is because of my interaction with the people across the country. Right from my student days, I have been moving around, going around, meeting people, greeting people, talking with people, walking with the people, spending time with the people. That gives you more knowledge. This is my advice. Next.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Next.
Honorable Vice President, sir, my name is Nerita Menezes, student of first year BSc in Hospitality and Hotel Administration. Sir, do you remember what was your ambition as a child or as a youngster like us, and how do you feel today?
Thank you. Thank you. Interesting question. I am a son of a farmer, agriculturist. So my grandfather told me at a very young age, being a children of agriculturist, you must also learn, practice agriculture, which is our basic culture. So I have learned it and I enjoyed it. Even today I enjoy that. The second ambition was to become something big or important. I never dreamt that I become Vice President of India, second constitutional post. But I had an ambition, not about getting into this post or that post, that I must excel in some way or other. For that, work hard, be disciplined. These are the two things that were taught to me because of my association in the younger days with RSS. We got this discipline and a national outlook and concern for the society. So I wanted to become something during my childhood. I am fortunate I became something now. So everyone must aim high, dream high, aim high and work hard. Simply dreaming, if you leave it there, it will be daydreaming. So dream, aim and work hard. You will. I just now was told that one of the alumni, the student of this institute, has become the principal now, present principal. She's here. So see, that means learning, hard working, and focusing attention, then that will take you to heights. You have a living example here. Next.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Honorable Vice President, sir, my name is Pankaj Kumar Singh. I am a senior lecturer at this institute. Sir, what is your message to the hospitality professionals in Goa?
Yes. It's a very important question. an important aspect. What is more important in life that makes you more acceptable? Love? No. Simple. Hard work alone? No. Then knowledge? Not fully. And then attitude. That is most important. Attitude. So the profession, you must take this profession as a mission. Mission. Even I say politicians, journalists, others all should treat what they are doing as a mission, not for simple commission. Do not give any remission or do any omission. But everyone must have a passion. So this hospitality sector is such that you have to be receptive, you have to be positive, you must be disciplined, you must stay focused on the work that is assigned to you, and then be ever smiling, receptive, pleasing. That makes you more acceptable. It's not simply because you are an air hostess or you are a hotel receptionist or something that you have to smile. Smile makes life more comfortable. Happiness. It's not wealth or it's not simple health. Wealth is important. If you have health, you can get wealth. But if you have wealth, there is no guarantee that you get health. So health is important, wealth is important. Along with these two is attitude. Your attitude. The aim is of any service or any profession is to make people happy. Happiness is different from comfort or from wealth. Happiness comes out of many aspects. Your stay is comfortable, your food is comfortable, the reception is comfortable, your way of response is comfortable, the environment is comfortable, there is beautiful sceneries around you, all these things, and then there is peace, there is no tension, because if you have tension, you cannot pay attention. So you have to really aim at making people happy by overall attitudinal changes, and also, as I told you, by knowledge, by hard work, by experience, by exposure, knowing good practices, and the languages, knowing as many languages as possible, and that too in hospitality sector, because you will be exposed to different people from different countries. Your institute also, fortunately, it has an All India presence, and here also students, I am told, are from different parts of the country, different culture, all these things. If you learn, then you will be more acceptable. And then any suggestion or any grievance or any complaint, you should not take it as a complaint. You must take it as a feedback and then try to improve. There is always scope for improvement. And one must aim at and practice learning. Learn, including politicians, I say. Learn every day new things. And that too with the fast changing technology. The world is undergoing a big change. In 80s, I went to Singapore. I saw color TV first time. India, there was no color TV at the time. I was amazed. 28 channels, 30 channels, and something unheard. But the changes are happening fast. And here, India is also fast changing. But at the same time, we should not leave our roots. The culture, the heritage, the jnana, जो समाज ने हमको दिया है उसको कभी भूलना नहीं चाहिए. When you even get exposed also, you must stay focused not only the things which you have learned, but also to original, your roots, your heritage. That's why wherever I go, I tell the younger generation, everyone should remember 5 things in life. One is, do not forget the mother who has given you the beautiful birth. Mother. The moment you remember mother, you will remember love, you remember affection, you remember care, you remember devotion, how the mother takes care and how she has taken care of you. Second is Janma Bhumi, the place where you are born. Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, whatever it is, Orissa. Should never forget your Janma Bhumi, even if you become something big. Remember your native place and try to do something for the betterment. And the third one is mother tongue. The language that has come from mother's womb should never forget your mother tongue. Learn as many languages as possible, even I am suggesting to you. But do not forget mother tongue. Because any other language, the mother tongue is like your eyes. The other languages are like your spectacles. If you have eyesight, then the spectacles will work. If you don't have sight, so the mother tongue, proficiency and efficiency, and feeling proud, mother tongue is important. And then the motherland, the country to which you belong to, the beautiful country, you must always respect. Country means people of the country. You must have their well-being. You can be a Jharkhandi, you can be a Goan, but you are an Indian, you are a Bharatiya. This feeling has to be there among all people. Then you will have the real happiness. One. And secondly, another important thing one must remember is the Guru. Guru means ज्ञान देने वाले. जिन्होंने आपको ज्ञान दिया बचपन से लेकर, कभी भी गुरु को बोलना नहीं चाहिए कि Google has come, net has come, but Google cannot replace Guru. This has to be understood by all. You remember the Guru who taught you, you will really enjoy it. So the people, particularly in the hospitality sector, before I conclude, is be receptive, learn as much as you can. If you learn, then you will earn. Some people want to go out also, go out. Some people want to go abroad after doing some courses. My suggestion to them is go, learn, earn and return. Because enjoying life with your near and dear, with your family, with your countrymen, that gives you real happiness. So this attitude has to be there among one and all. Anybody else?
Thank you, sir.
Please.
Honorable Vice President, sir, my name is Sakshi Salgaonkar from 3rd year BSc in Hospitality and Hotel Administration. As you carry a lot of responsibility, how do you balance your work life and your mental health, especially during the current situation?
Right. This pandemic is something which we all have not experienced earlier, even seniors like me. And we heard about flu long back, but we never experienced. So there is some amount of tension in mind initially, because of a new situation, your movement is restricted, and then you can't go and meet anybody. People cannot come and meet you. So there is some pressure. And also when you get into a responsibility, there will be some pressure of work. I experienced from the beginning, I learned somehow the pleasure of work, not the pressure. More work means more happiness. That is the attitude I developed. That's how I could become something like this. For your information for the youngsters, when I joined politics as a young political activist, I used to write on walls about the party to which I belonged to at that time. Now I am not a politician. I have retired from politics, but not from public life. So I used to write, I used to make announcement. So today evening, Sriman Atal Bihari Vajpayee is coming to our town. Public meeting at Cooperative Bank, please attend. Like that we used to make announcement on a Jatka. Jatka is a Tonga, what do you call here? But I never imagined that a boy who made an announcement of a arrival of Atal Bihari Vajpayee could become the president of the same party, ruling party at the national level, and sit between Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Advani, become the president of that party. It's all because I enjoyed the work, responsibility I have taken. Once you enjoy the work, the pressure on your mind will get reduced. And then if you have little amount of physical fitness, if you are physically fit, you will be mentally alert. And then you will never lose equilibrium. This is all part of life. These difficulties will come and go. We have to live with that and then come out with a new solution. This sort of an attitude, temperament, once you develop such temperament, then finally, some amount of spirituality, whatever it is, I am not saying about this religion, that religion, any reading religious books or texts, knowing about great people like today, Swami Vivekananda, I am going to say something about Swami Vivekananda also, knowing Indian philosophy, and then hearing, you asked me about reducing the pressure and tension in mind. For your information, after the COVID, even before that all these pressures are there. I get up at 5 o'clock and then after finishing my morning, 5:30 to 6 I hear the music. Simple Indian music, light music, old film songs also. And then Balaji, Lord Venkateswara, there are Annamacharya Kirtans, some such thing. And I enjoy. Same songs I used to hear every day, but morning, 5:30, no other disturbance, you enjoy. Some people enjoy bhajan, some people enjoy kirtans, some people enjoy other music, whatever it is. That really makes a fresh start. This is how I used to. Then some morning walk. I walk 1 hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. I play badminton. That reduces the pressure on mind, on body. I am now 71. Still I play badminton. That gives me the strength and energy. Then, while walking to the extent possible, go through the green patches. If you are fortunate here, you have the beach also. Then, that's like walking with the nature. Then, now in pandemic, you asked me how you are spending time and all. So this is the first time in my life I am spending time with my wife. All the other time, even after marriage, I never stayed in one place for more than 3 days or 4 days. Continuously used to go around, tour the state or the district initially, state, then country. There was no time at all. So my wife became very happy because I am there at least. She was initially saying, thanks to Modi because of lockdown, you are here and all. And a lighter vein. And then we talked to each other. Then we started talking to our friends. Then we started talking to our relatives, the old acquaintances. For information, during the COVID, I spoke to almost all political leaders across the country. All parties, because I am the chairman of the upper house also. I spoke to all my members, 254 members of the Rajya Sabha. Then I spoke to people, colleagues, who worked with me and I was in active public life to the extent. Then I spoke to all my school classmates. Few are there, whom I remember and get the contact. Then I spoke to my college mates. Then I spoke to my university mates. Then I spoke to my assembly mates, where I was a member of the Legislative Assembly. Corrected all this, and I maintain, to the extent possible, some correspondence with them. By speaking to them, I started feeling at home. All. They also started feeling immensely happy that too. Vice President of India calling them directly on phone and talking to them. And then my wife and myself, we used to inquire about the well-being of our village people. We are away from our village since long. So that also used to give immense. And we spoke to our elders in the village. An 80-year person, 90-year person getting a call from his relative or a close acquaintance who has become something, they feel happy to talk to me and to talk to my wife and all. Then I spoke to the media friends. Like that. And then both of us used to spend some time in the garden, take care of vegetables, plan what to grow, seasonal vegetables. Then both of us used to discuss today, because there was time, what is there for lunch, what should we prepare for lunch, what is there for dinner. Discuss. If there is agreement, okay. If there is disagreement, what I want for breakfast or lunch, what she want for evening. So there used to be some agreement on those things. That's how we used to spend time. And my wife, of course, she used to read books, small philosophical books, and also do some puja in her own way. I don't do much puja. I just take a darshan and leave it. And then I try to spend with others and all. And then I come and sit in my lawns, because fortunately we have some lawns in Vice President House. So there, and chit-chat with people. And then be in touch with your office online, phone, give instructions, approve the files. That's how I am maintaining. Now, only since last 1 month, I started moving out. Even after moving out also, selectively, we are attending physical program. This is a physical program, mixed that way, hybrid. Physical, some of you are here. And the other one is virtual. All other students, the other people working in the hospitality sector and also tourism, they are all able to watch because there is live telecast also going on. This is how I spend time, and then there is literally, there is no tension, though there is some eagerness. When it will become normal, then we will be able to overcome this. Fortunately, we are getting good news that vaccine is coming, any day it may come. And it's an answer to even the new strains also that are likely to come or coming. So these are all something. But life should go on. Na? Otherwise, if life do not go on, you can't be in lockdown forever. And then you will not be able to enjoy life. And then economy. Unless people start working, the government do not get revenue. Unless government do not get revenue, they will not be able to spend on welfare and development. So these are all interconnected. That's why step by step, the government of India, the government of the state, they are relaxing this. But initially, the lockdown was very much necessary. The two reasons. One is the graded manner in which we have imposed certain restrictions. Second is our endurance level. Third is the medical support we are able to get in this country. That's why look at the casualties of so-called developed countries, Western countries. America, France, Germany, Italy, many, Spain. And look at our population and then the casualties. Comparatively very, very less. One, people's endurance, nature. Second is, as I told you, steps taken by the government. And then we must also salute the people, the doctors, the medical staff, nurses, the other people, and also the security people who are guarding us across the country, the sanitary people, even when we are all locked inside the houses, they were cleaning the roads. The sanitary people. We should really hats off to them. And then also the media. Also, media people braving all this, they started working and then reporting so that you get news. Getting news. And then another important segment, we call them frontline warriors, is farmers. The one sector which is working normal from the day one in spite of challenges is the agriculture sector. Really hats off to them. The agriculture production has come down, not come down, in spite of all these grave difficulties and challenges. So this is how life should go on, and we must all be prepared for the other opportunities and explore those opportunities and take advantage of the situation and hope for the better days. Last question.
Thank you, sir.
Right, Ma, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for these thought-provoking answers and motivating thoughts, which will keep us...
One boy is standing. What is your name?
Honorable Vice President, sir, my name is Daniel Pereira, student of first year BSc in Hospitality and Hotel Administration. Sir, what was the hardest decision you have made in your life?
Right. Hardest decision was to leave public life and join this constitutional responsibility. Because right from my younger days, as I told you, moving around, meeting people, greeting people, talking with people, sharing with the people, giving your thoughts, knowing the other thoughts, and then being active, that was something different. And this is constitutional post. You can't go around as you like. You can't be free. There is a protocol. See the distance also now. Had it been normal, I would have been among you. Not only for COVID, even otherwise also. And there is a certain amount of... all these systems are there. I don't want to dilute the importance of this responsibility, but this is a different responsibility. You have security people. Wherever you go, traffic is regulated. It is inconvenience to public. It is painful to me also in mentally. See, traffic is stopped because of our movement. And then wherever you travel, 25 vehicles follows you, including doctors. They come all the way. Everything. Before you eat the food, that has to be tested. Food, even what we eat. You can't go to any shop. You can't go even to a chappal shop. Chappal shop has to come to you. In Goa, I used to roam around in Panji, go to some small shopping, purchase some T-shirts. Here, I've been coming to Goa for years. As MP, as Minister, Rural Development, Urban Development Minister, Party President. Every time I just little enjoying shopping and all. Now, the shop has to come to me and go. I used to go to different restaurants, enjoy. Now you can't go to restaurant. Food restaurant. These small things, it will look, so what you may think, what is this? These are all personal. Everybody has got something personal. No? So this thing, but more than this, and then you can't speak in the house. You have to hear the other speeches. You can only make a comment, observation, that's all. And we have been speaking in assembly, in parliament for years together. As MP, as minister and all those things gone. You cannot hold a press conference. You can only address a meeting. So there are so many things which are different from my normal, this thing. And then, but I'm getting used to this. It's a new responsibility. And also it's a prestige, becoming second constitutional authority in the country. It's not an ordinary thing. So, and this is one way, a different charge. But this suggestion was given to me. I was in different minds. whether to accept this constitution, because I was thinking after completing my political life, I should get into social work. Do social work. That was my ambition. But I have to change it for the time being. Though I am working now, also doing something good to the society. But physically, personally, involving and doing something without post, I would have enjoyed it more. All these things, it was a little tough decision, but I have taken a decision.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for these motivating thoughts, which will help us keep our spirits high and give us motivation to do hard work continuously. Thank you very much for this. The Institute Hotel Management, along with its varied other activities, releases its own in-house magazine, Aaroh, with an aim to increase zeal and enthusiasm amongst the students and faculty to express and work in official language, Hindi. A small contribution towards progressive use of Hindi, and we are glad and honored to get the 5th edition of Aaroh released at the hands of Honorable Vice President. May I now request Honorable Vice President, sir, to release this magazine. Aaroh, which means to ascend, to climb up, to rise. I wish all the students as well as the institute that they always take the ascending path, that they come out with flying colors and they bring glory to the state of Goa. Thank you, sir. On behalf of everybody present here, I would like to kindly request you to guide us and express your thoughts. Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji.
गोव्याचे मंत्री श्री मोविन गोडिनोजी, भारत सरकाराच्या पर्यटन मंत्रालयाचे सरसंचालक श्रीमती मीनाक्षी शर्माजी, भारत सरकाराच्या पर्यटन मंत्रालयाचे आर्थिक सल्लागार श्री ज्ञानभूषणजी, गोव्याचे होटल व्यवस्थापन संस्थाचे अध्यक्ष श्री जे अशोक कुमारजी, प्रिंसिपल श्रीमती डॉना डिसौजा जी, शिक्षक आणि कर्मचारी, मेगाल्ड विद्यार्थिनो, होटल व्यवस्था संस्थेत येवपाका म्हाका खूब खुशी जाता. तुमका सगळ्यांक म्हाजो शुभेच्छा. When I say feel proud and practice mother tongue and our languages, all Indian languages. But at the same time, afterwards you must learn other languages. Konkani, Marathi, other local languages, and then learn Hindi, then English, then French or any language, other language. First, learn mother tongue. That's my advice to all of you. My dear youngsters, and other friends, today is a National Youth Day. Security, साइड पे वो भी हमारा काम ही कर रहे हैं ना, फोटोग्राफर. हाँ, साइड से देखो, चिंता मत करो, वो लोग कुछ करेगा नहीं आपको. उनका डर है भाई, ओपन में आया वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, क्या होगा क्या नहीं. National Youth Day. Youth are the future of the country. Youth. And also today, fortunately, is the birthday of Swami Vivekananda, the greatest Indian philosopher monk. And I start my speech by his quotation. Our duty is to encourage everyone in his or her struggle to rope to his own highest idea and strive at the same time to make the idea as near as possible the truth, said Swami Vivekananda. Born on January 12th, 1863 the early hours to Srimati Bhuvaneswari Devi and Viswanath Datta in Kolkata. He was named initially as Narendra Nath Datta, and who later became one of the most revered spiritual leaders of the world and was known as Swami Vivekananda. On the occasion of 158th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, which is also, as I said, our National Youth Day, let us look back at his inspiring life journey and teachings which have been guiding light to many of us. My dear youngsters, Swamiji, I will just quote one more quotation from him. Swamiji said, take up one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea. And just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. This is what Swamiji said. He also gave a small example of a seed, beej. He said the seed put in the ground needs support of earth, air, water, soil. But it doesn't become earth or air or water itself. A seed simply assimilates these substances, follows the law of its own growth and becomes a plant. And he also gave the example of a frog in the well. He said, if you are unwilling to learn, you shrink the world view. So try to learn, know as many things as possible. This is what Swamiji has said. I call upon the youngsters, visit his life, go through his teachings and preachings, and then try to move on. This is my advice to all the youngsters. My dear friends, I am happy to be here in the beautiful state of Goa, which is endued with a rich culture, heritage, magnificent landscape, and also pristine natural environment. Known for its beaches, churches, cuisine, and friendly people, Goa is a major global tourist destination and offers a unique Indian experience to the visitors. This beautiful state is also home to breathtaking waterfalls, caves, lush green forests, ancient monuments, rare wildlife, and exquisitely carved temples and other places of worship. It offers everything to a traveler, from art and architecture to fairs and festivals. Goa has a special place in the hearts of international and domestic tourists. I am happy to note and see the Institute of Hotel Management are providing quality education and training to youth in the field of tourism and hospitality. These institutes are not only creating employment opportunities for the youth in the crucial travel and tourism sector, but also empowering them to be flag bearers of Indian culture by promoting the Indian cuisine, which has now become so much popular the world over. World over, you go to Western countries also, you find idli, sambar, dosa, vade, appam, uttappam. So many things. Our cuisines are popular now across the globe. Apart from creating highly skilled hospitality professionals, these IHMs can play a significant role in bolstering India's image as a global soft power through the promotion of Indian cuisine with its variety and richness. Dear sisters and brothers, and my dear youngsters, this COVID-19 pandemic has further reinforced the need, as I told you, to eat properly cooked, nutritious food to boost our immune system. And as you all are aware, the traditional Indian cuisine is known for its variety, richness, and the use of the ingredients with medical properties. It is prepared in accordance with the requirements of each season and each region. I just now saw some of the cuisines of Goa, local, very tempting. And then also had an occasion to see some of the items of Jharkhand. Very interesting, different varieties. And then we also offer different tastes also. You need the Goan fish curry, or the Bengal fish curry, the other different types of curries. Because of ages, we have been cooking and then we have been trying to improve. And also India, because of our culture, we believe in Atithi Devo Bhava. A guest is treated as next to God. Atithi Devo Bhava. That is the culture of India. So when you have joined this hospitality sector, you must remember that. Our rich cultural heritage and cuisine and friendly and welcoming attitude of most Indians towards foreigners will definitely help in attracting more visitors to India. Our hospitality industry must fully leverage India's tourism potential, and institutes like this have an important role in enhancing India's soft power globally. The tourism sector contributes significantly to Indian as well as world economy. In pre-COVID scenario, the travel and tourism sector was considered to be second largest industry in the world in terms of the number of people it employs. With around 330 million jobs worldwide, the industry accounts for 1 in every 10 jobs. India too, travel and tourism sector is one of the largest employment generators, employing 87.5 million through direct and indirect jobs, equivalent to 12.75 of employment share in the year 18 and 19. But unfortunately, this vibrant sector is among the hardest hit by the pandemic. As per the United Nations World Travel Organization estimates, the pandemic has caused 70% decline in international tourism, taking levels back to 30 years. Goa's tourism industry is estimated to have experienced job losses in the range of 35 to 58%, according to a report published by the state's tourism ministry. It has definitely caused a big setback to global tourism sector, COVID. I am confident the slowdown caused by the pandemic will be temporary and the tourism and hospitality industry will bounce back. We are seeing already people started coming, even to Goa. After remaining confined to their homes for a long time period, people will be naturally eager to travel for pleasure once the situation returns to normalcy. It will naturally provide a huge opportunity to put the Indian tourism industry back on rails, and all the stakeholders, including institutes of hotel management, will have a major role in contributing towards the revival of tourism and hospitality industry. India has a robust domestic tourism market, which could certainly help soften the impact as compared to nations that rely solely on international tourists. Promoting domestic tourism is very important. Promoting domestic tourism has attention at the highest level of the government, because the Prime Minister himself, Sri Narendra Bhai Modi, has given a call. Time and again, he is appealing to fellow citizens to travel and explore the country. I have traveled across the country to different states, different districts, to different places. Since my childhood, as I was telling you, from my younger generation, there is so much to see and enjoy in India. So I call upon the Indian people. First, promote domestic tourism. Visit your neighboring states. Visit other important states. There are historical, there are religious, there are many monuments, there are natural beauty spots. which you can enjoy. So people should start going around. The Prime Minister has given a call last year, the Independence Day. He said, travel to at least 15 destinations by the year 2022. This COVID has come. So once the COVID is over, our youngsters and our people, they must try to go to other states of our country first, before thinking of going out. India has almost 26 million outbound tourists. 26 million Indians go out. I assume that the immediate post-COVID phase, most of them would prefer to travel local. This presents a huge opportunity for Indian hospitality industry. India has over 200 beaches. Goa, you have beautiful 38 UNESCO World Heritage Sites and 68 protected areas which can attract significant tourism activity. The government on its part is taking all the measures to boost domestic tourism. Schemes such as Swadeshi Darshan and Prasad, both the state and central governments, they must work together collaboratively and then promote tourism sector through all possible means, including tax incentives and concessions. My dear sisters and brothers, I'm told the Ministry of Tourism has created the National Integrated Database Hospitality Industry, NIDHI, to get a clear picture of the geographical spread of hospitality sector, its size, structure, and existing capacity. It will serve as a common repository of data from the Ministry of Tourism, state departments of tourism and industry, and enable central and state governments to deliver better support and services. I am told that 32,624 units have registered under this portal. As we seek to restart tourism, it is important to build confidence and the trust of tourists. In this connection, the Ministry of Health and Tourism has already notified COVID-19 safety and hygienic protocols. The Ministry has put a system for assessment, awareness, training in hospitality industry, SATHI, to ensure compliance with COVID-19 safety and hygiene guidelines. I call upon the children here, the youngsters, go through the guidelines of SATHI and try to take advantage. As on date, 6,352 accommodation units have registered under SATHI, I am told. So, Ministry is also organizing webinars, quiz, bridge, discussions under Dekho Apna Desh. Dekho Apna Desh. Bahar jane ke pehle, Dekho Apna Desh. And keep connected with the stakeholders and to encourage citizens to travel within the country. Domestic tourism, when developed in a meaningful, sustainable and complementary way to international tourism, offers India an exceptional platform for tourism industry. Cultural connect between Goa and Jharkhand is coming alive in Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat photo exhibition I saw. The initiative Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat was announced by the Prime Minister in 2015 on the occasion of 140th birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the Iron Man of India. This initiative measures enhanced bonding. And I call upon the youngsters, visit Kanyakumari, Vivekananda Rock Memorial, visit Andaman Nicobar, the Sillar jail, where hundreds of our Indian freedom fighters were given horrible treatment. It's a lifetime ambition of anybody, should be everybody, to visit Sillar jail and know the sacrifice made. And also visit the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue, the highest statue in the world, larger than Statue of Liberty, that is now located in Gujarat at Narmada Sarovar project. That is also a place to see really. I have been there last month. It's very enjoyable, very inspiring also. There are many. Even in Goa, you have not only beaches, you have old forts, you have churches, you have temples, you have the Grand Mahalakshmi temple, you have various churches built at various places and all. And then you have all other places also here for the hospitality sector. So we must really showcase the rich heritage, culture, customs and traditions of the paired states, this is Jharkhand and Goa, together for a better understanding and appreciate the diversity of the nation. I congratulate the Institute of Hotel Management, Goa Tourism and Jharkhand Tourism for coming together and organizing this photo exhibition. Such exchanges between paired states under Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat are important and will promote people-to-people contact. My dear friends, youngsters, I am really happy that I have been able to come here, meet you, see your institute, know its work, interact with some of your staff, and also interact with some of you. I would have been more interested to spend more time and come nearer to you, but we have to keep in mind the present situation and follow certain regulations that have been suggested. I would like to congratulate the Institute of Hotel Management, Goa, for its endeavor to provide education and important skills in the field of hospitality. My best wishes to all the students. God bless you. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.